Welcome to a new episode of The Creators Outlet. First-time guest, Lee Jiles. Now, the first thing I have to ask you, Lee, is during all those years that Buffy was on, did you get real annoyed?
I really never got a lot of that, surprisingly.
Oh, that's odd. People made fun of my name all the time. Then they gave me other names because I was a ginger, so... I went from Woody Woodpecker to what else do they call me?
Do they tell you you don't have a soul?
Yeah. Middle school, they started calling me Brawny because I wore a lot of flannels too. So that didn't help. I was the paper towel guy.
That's
I kind of looked like, his son or something. And now I don't really have any hair left. It's all what's left is all gray, so I just kind of like have my wife shave my head. I look better bald. It takes like 20 years off my age.
Yeah, I've heard people say that it's better for it to turn gray than turn loose, but mine's doing both, so I don't know what that is. I guess that's no good at all. So
goodness. So tell us about you. Like how you came into the creative lifestyle, when your love for comics originally started.
Okay. Well, my name is Lee Jiles, as he said, not the Giles from Buffy. Yeah, and I've been drawing as long as I can remember. And, when I was a kid, of course, I was into, Spider-Man was always my favorite, and Batman, of course. And started reading comics back then. And then the older I got, the more I started to draw. I learned to draw from basically copying out of comic books. And then I got to a point where, used to, when I was younger, it was like, man, I want to work for Marvel one day, or I want to work for DC or whatever. And I got to the point where, I want to make my own characters and just publish those books. And that was in the 90s when that started happening. And of course, back then it was a lot harder to, the digital print on demand wasn't really a thing back then. So printing has always been expensive. So that probably held us back a little bit, but we had created some stories, and that's when I actually created our flagship title, is Godsend. And then after years and years, from like 94 when I created it, I think it was 2012 when we finally published the first issue. So it went through a lot of changes, and I finally hooked up with another writer who is a better writer than I am, and that made a world of difference as well. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved comics. I think it's a great medium because it's kind of like it's like people say, it's like being making movies, or being a director and having an unlimited budget, because you can pretty much do anything you want in comics. And it's not going to cost you like making a movie, for sure.
Yeah. None of those SAG fees or anything,
Exactly. Yeah, those had to put up with those actors and all that stuff. So, but no, I just got to the point where, yeah, I mean, creating your own stories and your own characters just was more interesting to me than working on other people's properties. So that's kind of where we are, and we've officially hit 10 years publishing in January. So we've published 6 issues of Godsend, which is like a supernatural hero. He's this guy that comes into possession of an ancient sword that allows him to fight demons, as well as the modern incarnation of the Templar Knights. And we just had a Kickstarter for the collected edition of that a couple of months ago when it funded, and those are being printed right now. We've published 2 issues of In-Flight Service, which is like a secret agent book. My wife is a flight attendant, so I came up with the idea that that would be a great cover for a secret agent, and so the story kind of was built from that.
The IFS.
What's that?
The IFS.
Yes, In-Flight Service, IFS. That's it. And we published 3 issues of Scott Wilkie's The Legend of Everett Forge, which is a steampunk western, which is a really, really cool story, but it hasn't really found its legs yet, but we're going to get it there. I don't know what we just have to find the right reader for that one, but it's a really great story with great artwork and everything. And then I'd always kind of, I guess everybody wants to do some sort of a horror book or a zombie book or something. And, but I always kind of felt like that market was really oversaturated. And then when I came up with the idea for Red Scare and started working with Scott Wilkie on that, he kind of put some thoughts into it, and we came up with a really cool, unique story that's, our take on zombies. It has to be a little different than everybody else's. So with Kickstarter for issue 2 is what we have going on now. Issue 1 funded and did really well. So we're excited to tell more of this story. Cool.
And you've got another book called Dreamer.
Yes, Dreamer is right now. We only have a preview of that out, I think it's an 8-page, but that's actually being worked on right now as well. And hopefully within a few months that'll be out. And that's kind of a sci-fi book, and that's created by Eric Dotson, who is my partner at About Time Comics.
Oh, cool.
And her on Godsend as well. So
nice. Well, I just threw all the links up there in the chat for About Time Comics webs.com, so they can go right to your website. The link to the Kickstarter and to follow you on Twitter, because you never have enough people stalking you on the internet.
That is very true. You can always use more stalkers.
It's nice to have people besides the government stalking you.
Watching everything that you do. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So you're the writer, or do you do art as well?
Well, I do art, but I don't actually draw my own books just because I don't have time. But I'm the creator of In-Flight Service and Godsend, and also Red Scare. And then once Scott Wilkie started working on it with me, he added so much to the story that I made him the co-creator. So, but he's actually the writer. So I kind of come up with the story ideas. The way I describe it is I can come up with a story and I can write it like in book form or novel form, but I'm terrible at writing a script. And so when I find a good writer, like with Peter McLeod, who writes Godsend, and Scott, it's like they take all my puzzle pieces and put them together and make them make sense, And I've been lucky that these 2 guys also think a lot like I do. So everything that they've added to my stories, I'm like, man, why didn't I think of that? That's a great idea. It's been a lot of teamwork going into it, but yeah, I love to draw, and it's just, between family and work, full-time job and all that. Yeah, there's no way I could draw a 28-page book ever. It would take me forever.
Oh, the real world is such a drag.
It really is.
Did you have any formal art training?
I did not, just self-taught. Like I said earlier, when I was younger, I would, copy out of comic books. And then as I got older, I started studying anatomy and even now it's even better because with the internet, there's so much, YouTube videos and, all sorts of tutorials, and you can really, if you have any skill at all, you can learn a lot just from the internet, having formal training.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video for just about everything.
That is very. I have, I was telling my wife the other day. I said we had a TV that the LED lights went out, and I said, well, I'm going to try to replace them. So I bought the lights, and sure enough, found a YouTube video for my exact TV and replaced them, and it worked. And so then the same thing happened. My daughter's computer screen went out. I replaced that, and it worked. I asked my wife. I said, I wonder how many people just start a business, and that's what they do. They go on YouTube and search how to fix the.
Yep.
They're not trained. They just look the videos up and fix the stuff,
Oh, my friend's dad, when he was alive, opened up his own repair shop, like in his backyard, for TVs, VCRs, DVD players, CD players, stuff like that. And he was a musician all his life, so he was used to rewiring, soldering, for the speakers and different things like that. So, and then eventually it just came out to it was cheaper to just buy a new unit than it was to get anything fixed. So
very, very true. That's kind of where we are now, and with even with the TV that I fixed, I mean, it was much cheaper to fix it. However, it probably would have been much easier just to go buy another one. I mean, everything is disposable nowadays. Computers, TVs, everything, phones. Yeah,
it's just the amount of trash we create as a society now.
Yes,
it's like throw it out, buy another one.
That's it.
I can't afford to buy another one. I got to figure out how to fix this.
Right, and that's what my dad, when he was living, my dad was a mechanic, and that was not his profession, but he learned when he was young to work on cars, and so his whole life he would work on our cars and lawnmowers and whatever we had, and he was really good at it. And but that's what he had said. He said, we were poor growing up, and he said, so we fixed things, and he said, really back then, stuff was built to last, and stuff was built to be able to work on. It's like now, it's like no, just like you said, you throw it away and you go buy another one. So
yeah, it's too bad because one thing you can't do that with is comic books.
Very true.
You can buy another one, but then you have to buy another one of the one that you spilt your coffee on, or that your kids dropped water on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Or you could do like some people, buy one copy to read and one copy to put up.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you ever wonder why you can't get a good silver or golden age key book graded and back in a reasonable amount of time, it's because Marvel and DC figured out, the speculator market doesn't want anything but first appearances and quote unquote keys.
Exactly.
So every other issue they do that too, or they relaunch it and start another number one because they know the number ones are going to sell.
Exactly.
But not as well, which is why Marvel for the latest Moon Knight series made over 50 variant covers just from Marvel.
Oh wow!
Not including all these comic shops that pay them $10,000 a whack to have their own exclusive cover to sell.
Yep.
And it's just a little crazy.
Yeah, that really that was one of the things that killed it with with Marvel and DC and stuff like that, was when I was much younger than I am now, but I still read them, and you start seeing these. It got to the point where this, like Superman, for example. Let's kill Superman. Well, Superman's not going to stay dead. It was a gimmick, and let's break Batman's back, and let's okay, we're going to make the Spider clones and all this, and it just turned into garbage, man. It's like recycle storylines over and over, and killing characters and bringing them back, and
yeah. I knew Wolverine wasn't going to stay dead either.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we got. Magneto pulled the adamantium out of his body. He's done. No.
No. He was a mutant beforehand. Now it just hurts more because there's no adamantium around his bones that stick out of his hands.
Exactly.
And they break now.
So I've not really read any mainstream comics in a while. I will occasionally buy some just solely for the artwork. You know, some of the artists that I like. But man, I read a ton of indie comics, and that's where I do my comic book shopping, is at comic book conventions and, you know, on Kickstarter for the most part. So there's some really, really good stuff out there right now.
Yeah, I grew up. I was a kid in the '70s, so I grew up in the Bronze Age, and
Right.
I loved all that stuff. And so pretty much now, I'll buy from dealers online that I know, and I've gotten like really good deals from. There's like 4 or 5 guys out in Arizona that I
Right.
get good deals from, and they'll like build a box for you. They'll like, I got one guy that'll fill like an entire short box, and he'll ship that entire short box to you, which is like about 300, 250, 300 bucks.
Right.
And he'll ship it to you flat rate for like 15 bucks.
No, you can't beat that.
And I'm like, you can just barely pick it up. It's like 40 pounds. And you know, and I get good deals, like, but I only buy like back issues.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know,
Now, back issues of the older comics from the 70s and 80s, those were the best for sure.
yeah, I mean, I like the magazines and reading the interviews. So I like back issue magazine, and Altered Ego.
Yeah, I've read back issue before. I don't know about Alter Ego.
Altered Ego has they'll like delve into like a certain book or like set of creators, and it's basically interviews with creators, you know,
Yeah.
finding out more about them and their creative process, and you know, their favorite characters to work on, and
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
a bunch of name drops, because you know, most of them are, you know, well, in the magazine I just got like 6 more of them, you know, just for like $3 a piece. You
Right.
can't, magazines are like $12, $15 now. I'm like, who would buy
I,
a $15 magazine?
yeah. No way. You know, I used to enjoy the Wizard magazine. I thought it was really cool. You know, I wish they
Yeah,
would bring. I thought I always enjoyed that, especially when it first came out. It was really good.
yeah, I like the articles and the stories they had in it. Their pricing guide, not so much.
Yeah, that was kind of, yeah, I could have done without that for sure, the price
Yeah,
guide. But
yeah,
for reason, it's really cool to go back. I actually just recently threw all mine away because I just needed space, and they were kind of, I think I had almost every issue, but it was fun to go back and look and see how when they would cast movies, you know,
oh
and
yeah.
they actually got any of them right. I think they got a few right, not many, but it was pretty cool.
It was always fun, because then we would sit around. I used to work at a comic shop. My friend owns it,
Okay.
and we would sit around, and then we would pick the cast after we read those, because you think, he's all right, but so and so will be much better for this, and
Exactly.
you know, and like 3 hours later, we realized it's time to lock up, and we didn't get anything done all day. I did read recently that because a new big thing now is newsstand editions.
Okay.
You know, they're very sought after, because there's not as many of them in good condition, because they were on spinners at supermarkets, and the kids
Oh,
would crinkle them.
gotcha. Yeah, you know about that? Yeah, the old back issue books. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the newsstand edition of Wizard Magazine #1, somebody got it graded from CGC, and it sold for like $1,600.
Wow.
That's just like the novelty aspect of it,
That very much so. Yeah.
you know. But I wish I had one to sell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's jump in and take a look at Red Scare. Why don't you give us the synopsis of what this story is about?
Okay. Red Scare is set in the near future, in a world where Russia has invaded the United States, and they actually won the war. And one of the ways they won was that their soldiers were infected to come back as living dead or zombies after they died. So that kind of added a whole new problem for the troops, needless to say. So now it was a good idea for Russia at the time, but now it's kind of working against everybody. So even though Russia has won the war, the zombies are still a thing they have to deal with. And so the United States is now divided into districts, and it's basically like, being in prison. You have some freedoms, but the Russian military still runs everything. So our story is about a Russian soldier named Anatoly Severov, who is a traitor. And at the beginning of issue 1, we see him escaping from the Gulag and making his escape. And then on the opposite side, we see a girl named Nadia, and she is escaping from the district that she's in with the help of a guy named Nate, who's a runner for the Russians. He basically gets to go out, has some freedoms, and he takes a truck out and basically gathers supplies, and he'll pick up special things for the soldiers. So they give him a little bit of extra privileges and stuff. So she strikes up a deal with Nate to sneak her out. And so at the end of issue 1, they run into Anatoly, and that's how they meet up and become a group.
So everything you just said is freaking me out a little bit with everything that's going on in the real world right now.
Oh,
I'm like, man, this book might be a little too close to home, Lee.
No, that's what and I actually came up with the idea, back when all this Russia talk first started way back, a few years ago. And I guess about 4 years ago, or whenever it was. And when I came up with the original idea, and I thought, well, that's good. Our country is so divided right now, when we've got, our troops are scattered all over the globe. So it'd be a perfect time for somebody to invade. So we'll just make it Russia, since everybody's talking about Russia right now. So that's kind of where that part of the idea came from. So.
And every time I hear a story involving Russia like this, I just want to yell Wolverines.
Exactly. But so in issue 2, we're going to start out with, where they meet up. The group meets up, and Anatoly is trying to find his way back to his family, who is also in the United States, and we'll find out a lot more about them. And we'll meet some other new characters in issue 2 as well. But the story really takes off in this issue, because the first issue was about, pretty much about Anatoly escaping, and then about Nadia escaping, and then the groups meeting up together. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's a cool story, and Scott has really done a great job with the script, and the artwork is Flavio Giron, and he's just awesome. He does such a good job.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I follow him. His art is amazing.
Yes. So yeah, we've got Scott's writing it. We've got Flavio on the art, and Dave Lentz. He letters pretty much everything, and he's doing a wonderful job lettering Red Scare as well. So
want to say hello to Hex Allen, drop it in, and you got another backer. Up to 101 now.
Yes, I just saw that pop up a few minutes ago. It's awesome. We finally broke the 100 mark. So that's good. On our way to 200 now.
Yeah, you break the 100 mark and you're like, okay, on the way to 1,000.
Man, I wish. I think with issue 1, I think we had 164, or was it 180? Anyway, 100. I'm like, man, I wish we could make it to 200 on issue 2, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, let's take a look at your trailer.
We would learn from the invasion and the outbreak that freedom wasn't the only thing that we could lose. Prison, however, taught me that there was worse fates than death.
I love you. Next question, and I love you. Okay.
Anatoly Severov. I brought you your favorite. Just how you like it. Traitorous swine.
And now I will teach them all that there is nothing worse than me.
That is a hell of a trailer.
Yes, that was put together by, I guess you saw at the end, Prevalent Mind Studios, and they did a really fantastic job with that. And actually, that is the same trailer that we used for issue 1, because with issue 2, there's some stuff going on that won't be revealed really until the end of the book, and we didn't really have a lot to make a new trailer with, so we decided to recycle that, and it still gives everybody a pretty general idea of what the story's about. And you know, you kind of get the gist of that Anatoly's trying to get out of there to get to his family. So, but yeah, I was really impressed with the job they did on the trailer.
Heck says it looks scary.
Scary good.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and that trailer is just. I'm gonna have to close the page out, and it just isn't responding.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
Yes, me too. But yeah, if anybody goes on there, we also have a 6 or 7 page preview of the second issue, pages from the second issue on there. We have some really cool rewards, I think. You know, obviously the books, and we have 7 covers. It was going to be 6, and Flavio did the cover with Anatoly and the gas mask and all that, and the zombie hands reaching up, and I'm like, man, we've got to make that into a cover, because he actually just did that as some promo art, but it was so good we had to make a cover out of it. So we've got some really cool covers to choose from, or you can get all the covers if you want.
Yeah, I've seen like some of his work on like other books, and he did some art for another creator. Yet again, zombie stuff,
Right.
but it was like Nazi zombies.
Oh, wow.
So it gave you something to like really cheer for, because anytime somebody's killing Nazis, it's like,
yeah, Nazi and a zombie. I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much worse than that.
yeah, it's a pretty good day when you get to do both. Let's see, get this back.
We still have two opportunities to be drawn into this issue. Then we have a scientist, and you can actually be killed by one of the new characters that we're introducing, who is called Baba Yaga. And she is a female mercenary who is, well, we'll find out at the end of the second issue, but yeah, she's going to be problems for the group.
Some of the art. There's lots of blood splatter. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid it sometimes.
This reminds me of something that you would have read back in the 80s as a story in like Heavy Metal magazine.
Oh, cool. I'll take that as a compliment. That's awesome.
Because Heavy Metal back in the 80s was good.
It really was, yes.
Opposed to Heavy Metal now.
I haven't looked at a Heavy Metal magazine in a long time.
I bought one a few weeks ago, but it was from November of 82. So
it was still good then.
Oh, it was. There were like 2 or 3 stories in there. a music article that cracked me up, just titled "Bootsy Collins, coolest man alive." Uh, there was an interview with Michael Moorcock
Okay.
of Elric, and that interview was titled "Moorcock Less Bull." I'm like, see, they were funny and clever back
Exactly.
when we were kids. I used to be able to think of stuff like that too. Now, nothing.
Yeah, that's on the screen there. That's one of Flavio's covers. Obviously, you can see the artwork matches the interiors there. But
Yeah, that's another thing that I don't like about modern comics is they get like all these really good cover artists, but all they can do is covers. They can't do interior art. They can't,
yeah,
they can't do sequentials.
right,
And I'm like, the person who does the artist that does the interiors should also get paid to do a cover. There
I
should
agree.
be one where everything, where you can get everything matching. I know you want the fancy schmancy cover because you want to put it in a plastic tomb and sell it for $1 million on eBay, but
Exactly.
I don't care about that.
I am a sucker. I'm a sucker for alternate covers, but I do think that if you have a really fantastic cover, no matter who the artist is, that the inside artwork should at least be on the same level.
Yeah.
It really grinds my gears when I get a comic with a nice cover and you open it up and it looks like a third grader, did the artwork on the inside. So
yeah, like I like Keith Giffen.
right.
There was a period back in the 90s where all I can think of is that he must have been beefing with DC like a family feud because he did the laziest, sloppiest crap I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And he was doing it on like Creeper and Firestorm and the DC Comics Presents line. I'm like,
Right.
this is terrible. I could do this. They won't pay me.
Yeah, it does make you wonder sometimes. I've seen that before too with some, artists that are normally good and then all of a sudden they start getting worse and you wonder if it's like some sort of a feud going on or they're mad because they're locked into a contract or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. And this is Tera White's cover.
Yes, I absolutely love that cover. That's one of I think that might be my favorite actually off of the as far as the covers go. He did a really great job.
This is Tera White with colors by Brian
Magne.
Oh, I forgot the G. It's terrible. I like this.
Yeah, that one turned out really great.
I can't imagine why. But...
I know. I've wanted to work with Christian Zanier for a long time. I've been admiring his work. We normally don't do anything that's like really like sexy like, but that's just what he does. And I told him, I said, okay, you can't go like you do on some of your covers because we try to keep it PG-13. And he said, well, I usually go do my art by, so that it fits the story. So yeah, so I was pleased with that. It's sexier than what we normally do, but it turned out really, really good. I love all the details and everything.
Oh yeah,
not just in the background, but
yeah.
And yeah, Geoffrey Gwin did a fantastic job on that one. A nice camera angle.
Yeah, I like this one.
And that was the way he did the camera angle is like we talked about putting the logo at the bottom or either just a smaller version at the top. And I said, why don't we just make this one the Virgin cover with no logo because I don't want to cover any of his artwork up, So that's how that one ended up being the Virgin cover.
Clean up in clearance aisle. Clean up in clearance aisle. That just came out so good, like the sniper angle.
Yes.
And J.C. Grun's black and white cover.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And that was the other thing that we did with issue 1 that went over really good, was having a black and white issue, because we were originally for the issue 1 Kickstarter failed because because I just did it only in black and white. So when I relaunched it, I offered a black and white version and a color version, and we moved a lot of the black and white, surprisingly, which I thought, because of Flavio's artwork, that the black and white looked really good for this type of book, but then once Flavio's colors on his artwork, it really works well too. It likes the perfect match. So
yeah, there's certain like horror genre books look best in black and white,
right,
because it takes you back to the older horror movies,
right.
And these have been becoming, the black and white line art versions have been becoming more and more popular with fans. I've seen campaigns that the book is like drop dead gorgeous, amazing art, popping colors, and when they launch, the stream they launch on, there's like a ton of people in the chat, because it's like another creator, so they've got like a built-in following, so they'll get like 400 or 500 people in the chat, and they're all ba 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 ba, and it'd be like, are you going to do a black and white version? I'd really like a black and white version, just so I can appreciate the art more before the colors hit the page.
Right. And I don't know if you've seen the black and white versions that DC put out of some of their books. I have gotten most of those because I absolutely love, like, Jim Lee's artwork in black and white is really cool. So
yeah, I actually have a Jim Lee like Batman head sketch.
Cool.
Signed by him, because way back before they released the Hush figures, they put out a special edition 3-figure like flat box case.
I think I remember that.
One was the mold. One was the one that they shot some color onto. Like in the next step,
right?
And the third one was like the full blown but variant with like better detail on it.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, that was cool.
The price wasn't cool.
No.
It was like $350, but I've got like a double Jim Lee autograph in there, one on the actual plate that he drew Batman on, and then there's like a tip-in plate for the actual figures that he signed as well. And I'm like, yep, I won't be waiting in line to pay him a couple of $100 for his autograph now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've got a bunch of the black and whites, like the Marvel Essentials,
yeah,
and the DC showcases, like those big like 500-page books, where they put like all the older stuff in, but just the pencils and inks.
Right. Yeah. That stuff. I even like the old the Conan magazines from the 70s. Those were awesome, man. They were all black and white, So
yeah, I just got the Savage Sword of Conan #2 magazine. I just got it in the other day. It was I think I only paid like $6 for it.
Yeah, they're still not expensive at all. Yeah.
There was like a newsstand marking at the top from whatever spinner rack it was on.
Right.
But that was it. And I'm like, it looks great. And I don't have this one, so I'm happy.
Yeah, and most of us had John Buscema artwork too. So I mean, you can't go wrong anyway.
Neil Adams did some, and then they took him back off it because he couldn't keep up with the deadlines on it.
Yeah.
They actually did a couple of reprints because he was taking so long to do like one particular issue. I go, well, he was probably doing 5 books that month, but
That's probably what it was. He was working on Batman and Conan.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody is Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
So this is Inlight ROXBOX. It's like a little light lights up in the back.
yes, it does. I've actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I've got one right here, as a matter of fact. And yeah, it lights up and
Oh, nice.
wrong way. Yeah, it lights up and it's got little hangers on the back. It's battery operated. So you can hang it on your wall. You can sit on the desk or a flat surface. It's really cool.
Yeah, I had gotten one sent to me as a promo from Valiant. I got a Bloodshot one
Oh, cool.
mailed out to me because I used to write for I used to do reviews and PR and stuff for Outright Geekery
Okay.
a few years ago. That's when I started doing, all the shows that I'm doing now, and about to add another one.
Oh, wow. Cool.
My girlfriend will be thrilled.
They're keeping you busy. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a candle.
No, there's actually a tumbler.
Oh,
You can put your coffee in your Red Scare.
it did that to me when I pressed on it like the first time too. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
when I press play, it like jumps.
Yeah, somebody, Scott Wilkie, the writer, he actually thought that was a candle when I first showed it to him. I said, no, man, it's a tumbler.
Yeah, I thought it was too because one of my many freelance illustrator friends actually buys like the tall candles that look kind of like this,
Right.
and he does glass art on the outside of them.
Oh, that's cool.
For stuff that sells well for him, like he's pretty popular for like Walking Dead stuff and
Okay.
some of the dark superheroes. So of course Deadpool, Venom, Harley
Yeah.
Quinn.
I just had met a local woman actually that makes those, and I got her to make that. I thought, well, that'd be something different. I've never seen anybody have a tumbler on there before. So,
And this is the Baba Yaga print by Vic Medina.
yes. Yeah, Vic is another amazing artist that I hope to work with more in the future.
So that black and white cover we saw earlier, this is Baba Yaga, and that was Baba Yaga, right?
Yes. And she's the female mercenary that's going to give Anatoly and the crew some issues.
I was putting it together. I go, well, they can't be two women with like these double blade sheath things
No.
on
Yeah.
gauntlets on her arms.
That is her. Yeah.
And then God Send Volume 1.
Yes, that's offering that as an add-on. The print and digital of that is 180 pages, 6 issues, the complete origin story arc for Godsend. So yeah.
Oh, nice. And then issue 1 of Red Scare is an add-on.
Yes.
Because you always have to have those catch-up tiers.
Exactly. Yeah, you never know who might have missed out on the first one.
So we got some stretch goals here. 3,000, which you've hit.
Right.
So you've unlocked the Red Scare logo sticker. And at 4,000, the Vic Medina Baba Yaga mini print.
Yes.
And then after that, it's just mysteries.
Exactly. We'll have to see if we make it that far. We'll come up with something really cool. So.
If we get there,
Exactly.
we'll do something for you.
Right. We'll make it worth their while.
Oh yeah. So you can pledge $10 or more for Red Scare 2 digital PDF. I call those the Australian variants because
Yeah, we do a lot of PDFs, and we did for issue 1, and also with Godsend. And yeah, you're right. A lot of those are people overseas who don't want to pay, $20 or $25 for shipping for a single book,
if not more.
Yeah, but surprisingly, we had several for issue 1 that were overseas. I forgot the exact number, but it was way more than I thought it would be. But yeah, it was around $25 to ship it just about anywhere overseas, roundabouts.
Nice. So the the Flavio cover for number 2 is $15. The Cory's cover is $15. Geoffrey Virgin cover is $15. The JC Grand cover, black and white, is $15. I'm beginning to see a pattern.
Yes.
You can get the catch-up digital tier, so you can read Red Scare 1 and 2 for $15. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
The Tera White cover, $15.
Guessed it, $15. Yep.
15. I'm like, oh, I know everybody's streaming right now. Stop telling me. I know their schedules. The catch-up, the physical catch-up, $25 for both issues.
Yeah, we'll try to give them a little price break if they do that. If they want the physical issue of 1 and 2. So, and
Plus, you also get the digital rewards when you buy anything physical, right?
Right. Yes. And also, this is a 36-page book. This isn't a 28-page. Where I've moved into the point in my comic career where I think you need more pages because we don't put issues out monthly, obviously, So yeah. I think if we can do a 36-page book, it gives the readers a little bit more.
Need a little bit of extra meat in your sandwich,
Exactly. Yes. So that's kind of what we decided to do this with Red Scare, and then probably moving on with our other books, we're going to try to do the same thing. So,
and is that 36 story pages, right?
It's 32. I think it's 32 story pages, and then you got we say it's like a 28-page. Usually has 22 pages of story, in it, but this one actually has 32 pages. So, and then you just have your inside covers and front and back covers, the other considered pages, So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Red Scare 2 plus a sketch card for $30.
Now that's a deal.
Yeah, I was really surprised because, like a few years before the pandemic,
yes,
that I saw a couple of artists selling like sketch cards, like trading card size sketch cards. And I was like, oh, how much are these? Yeah, those are 50.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
50, really? But they're so small. Because that's why they're 50.
Exactly, yeah. Problem.
I have to be more precise. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a real lot of detail in the cards that she had done, but I didn't have $50 to spend on a trading card.
Yeah, it's hard for me to. I mean, if it's just a pencil drawing, I don't mind. I'm not going to charge a lot for that on a sketch card. If they're supporting my book on Kickstarter, then I'm not going to charge them an arm and a leg. If I'll get on the book and a sketch card for a decent price.
And then for $50 or more, you get the new issue plus the ROXBOX Lite.
Yes.
Which they just look cool.
Yeah, they really do. I think we did 2 of those, maybe 2 on the first. So not a lot, but still, a couple of those on the campaign.
For $50, you can also get Red Scare 2 and the Red Scare Tumbler, who most of us thought was a candle. It's not. You can fill it with coffee and go to work.
Even Irish coffee.
Yeah. $80, you get the cover collection for issue 2. What do we have for total covers? 5?
7 now. We did well, and I had 6 originally, and then it ended up being turned into 7. So, yeah, that's a lot of covers.
7 covers for $80. Not too shabby. $150, you can be drawn in as a scientist in Red Scare 2. That's a 1 of 1 tier. So once somebody bids that, it's gone.
Yep.
Or for $200, you can be killed by the lovely but deadly Baba Yaga.
Yes.
And this is indie comics, folks. Once you get killed, you're dead.
Yeah, you're not going to be in the next issue.
You don't get to come back.
You'll be you might be a different character in that. You won't be the same character, I promise.
Nope. For $300, you can get an original cover art by Christian Zanier. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's, I think, actually the only one we have left. Geoffrey Gwin's and Cory Hamscher's already gone. So, surprisingly, I figured that Christian's would be the first one to go, but
yeah, these are all sold out. Sorry, folks, those are all sold out. Come on, terrible Comcast internet. There we go. I mean, the book looks great. Like I said earlier, might be a little too close to home for some people. But
if we start seeing zombies, then we're going to know something's up then for real.
yeah, maybe that's what all those train derailments are for.
Oh, yeah, that's it. They're spreading the infection.
Yeah. This is very cool. When are you looking at fulfillment for this?
I said April. That's what I put for the fulfillment date. So I'm hoping the book is over halfway finished. And this is like the other books, other Kickstarters that I've done. The book was completely finished, so it was a little bit easier to get it out faster. But Flavio works pretty fast, and he's over halfway done with this. So another 2 weeks for the campaign, and then hopefully, by April, everybody would have their books in hand.
Oh, nice. Hex Allen Comics says that's the hottest Baba Yaga I ever seen.
Yeah, Baba Yaga is supposed to be like a scary witch woman. So she does have this gas mask, which we haven't shown that. That'll be in the book. That looks more scary than her face does. But yeah, she doesn't look like a scary witch necessarily. But yeah, and the zombies, I didn't mention this, but you find out in issue 1 that the zombies, the Russians, when they infected their soldiers, they also had them undergo all this surgery to have their skulls and their necks plated in this metal. So, everybody's go-to for the kill a zombie is to shoot it in the head or cut its head off. So they just made it a little more difficult than a regular zombie.
Government's always making everything difficult.
Man, I'm telling you.
Well, I'm glad you got a backer while we were talking. Hopefully,
Exactly.
over the next 14 days, you should get a lot more.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Oh yeah, usually the first and last week, as you know, are usually always the best.
Right. Yeah, it stresses you out the whole rest of the time between those times, But yeah, those are awesome. First and last week, as long as you're funded, are pretty cool.
Yeah, those are the times that you get a smile on your face.
Exactly. The rest of the time, you're constantly going on your app and looking to see, did I get any today? Or did anybody drop their pledge? That's the worst.
Yeah. You like the final 48 hours, you're like on your app, like, every 5 or 10 minutes. Did I get another one? Did I get another? Please. Ooh, 5 more. Yay.
Yeah. Even one more. Hey, it's just $10, but I'll take it,
Hey,
whatever.
Take what you can get, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. Anybody is willing to put their hard-earned money to back something I've created, they're going to get something good for it, and I really appreciate it.
Very nice. I love the look of the book.
Thank you.
That's not all that Lee has. They've got this whole publishing company that's been going on 10 years, and they've got multiple titles. They're doing it right.
Hey, we're small, but we put out good books. So
quality over quantity, I always say.
A motto, yes, exactly.
So Lee, it was very nice meeting you.
It was very.
Thank you so much for coming on, talking about the book. We'll be sharing this, and this episode will be uploaded to my podcast platform. It will be available to listen to anywhere you can download a podcast
Awesome.
as of tomorrow.
Sounds good.
So thanks for coming out. Everybody follow Lee on Twitter. Everything is right there in the chat. And in the description, either up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us, or if you're listening to us, you just expand the see more button at the bottom of all those words, and you'll find Lee's Twitter handle, the website handle, the website handle, the website address, and the link for the Kickstarter campaign. Go check it out for yourselves. Thanks everybody for coming out and hanging out with us tonight, and everybody that watches this after the fact and listens to it on podcast, because we've been getting about 100 or so listeners a month for all the different episodes. So
cool.
we're growing we're growing over there, and we get a lot of watchers over on Twitter and on YouTube, and people like watch it after the fact.
Right.
Got a lot of other podcasters that are subscribed to my channel that actually like the stuff that we're doing, and they come and check it out afterwards.
Yeah, that means a lot too. Well, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been fun talking about comics and talking about my comics. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Lee. Congratulations on funding the book. Hopefully it'll go a lot further, and we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep sharing out the links for you.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and go read a comic book.